Hi everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at one of our advanced tools called Lines Connection and see how it works. To download this tool, you can install the MotionDesk panel from our website. I've already installed and launched MotionDesk panel, and by clicking on this icon, I enter the Market section and install the Lines Connection tool. After installation, Lines Connection appears inside the extension, and I can simply run it. As you can see, this is the tool's interface. Everything is clearly separated into sections, so you can work faster and more comfortably. To start, I created 5 null objects in my scene. I select all of them, then inside the tool, I open the Connection Mode section. I set the connection type to all, and click Connect Layers to apply it. As you can see, all 5 null objects are now connected to each other with lines. The next option is Star. With this mode, we can choose one layer as a hub and connect all other layers to that central layer. The remaining options work in a similar and self-explanatory way, so I'll apply them one by one and let you see the results. Next, we move on to the Line Style section. Here, we can choose the type of line used for the connections. For example, I'll start by applying the arc style, and as you can see, the result updates immediately. By selecting our newly created Lines Connection shape layer, we can adjust all the related settings. For instance, here I'm changing the line thickness using the base width option. We also have the global trim control, which lets us define the start and end of the line. At the bottom of this section, we get specific controls related to the selected line style. In this case, since we're using arc, we have the curvature parameter. The other line styles work in a similar way, as you can see. Some styles in this section include a segments checkbox. When you enable it, you can control the number of segments for that style, like wavy or spring, separately for each layer. As you can see, a dedicated control is created on every layer for this purpose. Next, we move on to the Color section. Here, I select the second option, Gradient between layers, then select my layers and apply it. In the settings, we have 2 main colors. These 2 colors, and the colors between them, are distributed across the lines in order. The third option is Gradient along line. With this mode, the 2 colors are applied as a gradient along the length of each individual line. The last option is Random Fixed Color. In this mode, the tool generates random colors based on the number of colors we define and applies them to the lines. These colors can also be edited later from the Layers Settings panel. Next, we move on to 2 of the most important sections of this tool: Drivers define the input behavior that controls how the lines react. Distance uses the distance between connected layers as the driving value. Opacity uses the opacity value of the connected layers. Scale uses the scale of the connected layers as the driver. In the Apply To section, we define how that driver affects the lines. For example, here I change the max distance, and we can immediately see how it affects the result. Now, I disable distance and enable only opacity in the drivers section. This means the line behavior is now driven by the opacity of the connected layers instead of their distance. We can also enable multiple drivers at the same time, allowing their effects to be combined. The scale driver works in the same way, using the size of the connected layers as the input. From the Apply To section, I enable stroke width. Now, based on the behavior defined in drivers, the line thickness is reduced or increased automatically. The color option works similarly, changing the line color based on the applied driver behavior. All Apply To options can also be combined together. Finally, we have the Trim section. In newer versions, Trim has been moved into the Apply To section and reacts to the selected driver behavior. We also have Trim for each layer, which creates a separate control on every layer, allowing you to trim only the lines connected to that specific layer. If you'd like to use the Lines Connection tool, make sure you install the MotionDesk panel. Thanks for watching this tutorial. If you found it useful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more tools and tutorials. See you in the next one!